Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Becky O'Neill. Thanks for coming to join me for coffee this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to see you. I'm a business growth strategist, and this is my weekly what I call coffee with Becky, and I like to come on here and just share some nuggets of goodness that I experience in my business and in my world with all of you in hopes that it serves you in some way. But mostly it's just informal, it's interactive, question and answer. I do take questions in advance so that I can have a topic of use for you. So what I have for you today has to do with breaking out of the commodities issue when you are a service-based business and you're being hindered by price comparison shopping. So, but like I said, this is a live interactive that I do. So please say hello. Let me know that you're here and tell me what you have to say about my topic. React. Feel free to interact with emojis and give me your comments. If you're here on replay, just tag your comments, #replay, so that I can find them later and I will come back and respond to you. Okay? If there's anything I can do for you at all, just pop it here into the comments and I'll be glad to come around and answer your questions for you. Okay? So again, today, or really this week, I've been having a lot of discussions with service-based businesses and their struggles with price comparison shopping and how that's affecting their businesses. It's really, it's a challenging situation because it really can affect everything in your business. You know, how much revenue you're generating has everything to do with everything else about how you run your business, how you pay your employees, whether you have enough money to pay their benefits, and just on and on. Can you make improvements to your office? Can you change, literally everything, and up to and including how much actual revenue you're making and keeping for yourself as the business owner or the practitioner. So, and we all know that with the internet being such that it is, everyone is out there price comparison shopping everything, right? I mean, I know I do. If I need to buy a thing, I go and I search 3 different places to find out who has the best deal. And a lot of times I end up choosing based on, first of all, price, but second of all, how quickly it can get to me. So I think we're all there. I think we can all relate to that. And this is really hurting service-based businesses, both brick and mortar as well as otherwise. If you're offering a service that's similar or the same as many other people in your town or in your area, you're challenged to differentiate yourself, right? Otherwise, if they can get the same thing from you as they can someone else, then, they're going to choose who's cheapest. They might choose by other means, like who's the closest or who can get them in the soonest. Generally speaking, price is at the top of their list. So we have got, as service providers, you've got to differentiate yourself, okay? But like I said, this is not a typical issue. This is a big issue. This has a lot of moving pieces and parts, and as a service provider, I know that you understand the complexities of all of that, and you're interested in ways that you can break out of it, but you're probably fearful because it's really just not as simple as just increasing your prices, or even just as simple to say, oh, well, just differentiate yourself and make yourself different in the marketplace. Well, that's a big thing, okay? Yes, you need to do that, and I'm going to come back around to that, but there's some other things that you need to do first and at the same time, okay? So the first thing that I recommend when I run into people who are struggling with these things is that they really take a hard look at their service, okay? If you are a business that has employees in a physical location, then I highly recommend that on a fairly regular basis, at least once a year, you have someone come in and do a full analysis of your experience. You can hire someone that might be like a secret shopper, or you can hire a consultant, or use a trusted advisor. Maybe I prefer that people actually invest with someone who makes it their business to do the best service for you. But if you don't have the budget for that, you can enlist the services of someone else that a colleague, maybe someone you went, like if you're a dentist, maybe someone you went to dental school with who's also practicing maybe in another town or something where your employees won't know them. Or, that kind of thing. So if you have someone who knows exactly what your business should look like, and can come in kind of secretly and observe and participate in your experience and give you some really critical feedback, then I highly recommend that you do that. All right, don't use a friend or a family member, because they're going to either not be as critical as they should be, or you're not going to be able to receive the information from them constructively without it hurting your feelings. Okay, so use a professional. If you really don't have a budget, dig into your past, find someone else who's doing what you're doing, and tell them what you're trying to accomplish. And maybe you could trade with them. Maybe you can say, hey, I'll do yours if you do mine. Scratch your back, I'll scratch yours. Okay, so find a way to get someone to come into your world and literally go through your experience, from the call in to make the appointment, to the show up, to what does the reception area look like if you have one? How did the person behind the desk greet you? How was the noise level within your operation? How was parking? Even to the tiniest degree, like, does your front door work without getting stuck? I mean, how many times have you tried to walk into a business and you're like, oh, because the door's stuck or the handle's loose? I mean, when I'm talking about have someone go through your experience, I mean, have them go through your experience. Sit in a couple different places in your waiting room. Look in the corners. Is it clean? Are your magazines organized? So when I'm talking about get someone to experience your thing, I mean really experience it. Okay, I'm not playing around. So you want someone to come in and really give you the full deal. Then you of course want to know what that is, from A to Z, soup to nuts, from the very first contact to the time that they leave and drive off down the road. And then you sit down and you analyze all the places where you can make improvements. All right, and then you make them. All right, without a doubt. I mean, there may be some suggestions, of course, that people have that you feel like aren't necessary to your experience, and that's fine. You can disregard them. But generally speaking, you're going to find a lot of places where your experience can be improved. So do that. That's the first thing you need to do. Before you do anything else, you need to make sure that your stuff, your thing, your service is shipshape, and your employees are doing exactly what it is that you need them to be doing in exactly the way that you expect it to be done every single time. And that's the other thing. Consistency is key. So it may, depending on your business and how big it is and how much of an investment you want to make, you may really need to do this a couple of times, okay, to get kind of a measure of consistency. Okay, so that's a big one. That's a really big one for service-based businesses, particularly ones that have offices and employees. Okay, but any service, if it is more than just you, if you have anyone out there representing you in your business, you need to know what they're doing when you're not looking. And you need to know what your experience looks like. Is it clean? Is it seamless? Is it organized? Is it fun? Is it representing what you're trying to accomplish? Your experience that you're trying to give. If it's not, fix it. Okay. The next thing you really need to do to differentiate yourself, this is less about differentiating, but more about visibility, is if you're a service-based business and you're looking for clients, you need a regular stream of clients. You need to be investing with an agency of some sort, an advertising or marketing agency that is specializing in SEO, search engine optimization. Okay. When someone types into their browser, I need an orthodontist, yours needs to pop up in the top 3 for your area. Okay. You have to be at the top. If you're not, then you're missing out. I mean, that's huge. And people aren't scrolling and looking. If you're not in the top 3, you're not winning, okay? This is not a free or cheap thing to do, but I'm telling you absolutely, if you have investing dollars and you're investing in your advertising, this needs to be at the top of your list. So search engine optimization. But it isn't only your website. It's also your social media pages. All right, people forget or don't even know that optimizing your social media pages is just as important as optimizing your website, okay? And further, your posting schedule and also your messaging within your posting needs to be consistent with your search engine optimization so that all of your things, all of your brands, all of the stuff that you're putting out there is coming up consistently with the keywords that are fitting to your particular business and your particular industry. Okay, so this is super important, and people really overlook this. A lot of times they disregard this because it's not cheap. It is not cheap to have an advertising agency doing your search engine optimization. But if you're a service-based business and you need new clients on a regular basis, then you need to be at the top of your game, okay? All right, hang on. I'm going to pause for a second here just because I see a lovely question here from Trisha, and I want to make sure that I read it. Yes, absolutely, Trisha. You know, we do get accustomed to looking at our businesses through our own eyes. I mean, we get accustomed to looking at our whole lives through our own eyes, and we don't even see. I'm terrible, actually, personally, about like having a pile of paperwork or something at the corner of my countertop. Man, I will walk past that thing for months before I finally come, like, well, you know, I'll have someone over or have a party or something, and I'm like, dang, that has been sitting there a while and I didn't even realize it. I mean, your business can be like that too. Like maybe you don't realize that behind that little corner table over there where you keep your magazines is a giant dust bunny. Okay, you don't know it. The people who work there haven't paid attention to it. But someone who's sitting in that little corner looking at your magazines, they turn to look at it and there's Big Funky in the corner there. Okay, so this is the stuff. I mean, you got to be aware of it for sure. Thank you, Trisha. You're absolutely right. So search engine optimization comes as a big part of your advertising budget. You need to do that. All right, another strategy that you can do, and I've seen this employed with some of my clients. I think it's brilliant. It's kind of ballsy, so I want you to just kind of hang on for a second and go here with me. But request reviews from your clients. Okay, they've just finished their experience with you, and I'm calling this an experience. I want you to start thinking experience and stop thinking service. Okay, because if you're a service, you're a commodity, people are going to price shop you and you're going to lose. Okay, but I want you to start thinking about your service as an experience. Okay, so your customer has just finished their experience with you and they come up to the front desk to do their checkout. Okay, maybe you're a hair salon or, you know, anyone that has a, you know, someone came through, did the thing, and now they're checking out. So they're at the checkout. You need to be asking these people right then at the end of their service for their review, okay? I have a client, actually I had a number of these that I recommended this to. I had one who really latched onto the process and it made a huge difference in their business, okay? They kept a tablet of some sort, actually they had a couple of them because they had two different people checking people out. So they had a tablet right there, and the client representative person, the receptionist or whatever you call that person who checks them out, they would say, "Oh, hi, Mrs. So-and-so. So I'm so glad you're here. How was your experience today? Or how was your haircut today? Or how did the dentist treat you with your teeth?" You know, whatever, just to say, how was your experience, okay? And 99% of the time, the person's going to say, "Oh, it was great. I blah, 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 loved it." Okay, capture that. Boom. "Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Mrs. So-and-so. Listen, while I'm fixing up your paperwork to check you out here, would you mind taking a moment," and you hand them the tablet and say, "Would you mind taking a moment and logging into your Google account and putting us a review onto Google while you're standing here? We would really appreciate it. It's great for helping us build our business and letting people know, you know, that you're happy." And you know what? We're actually doing a thing right now that will give you a, you know, X% off, or we have this little thing, or, you know, so don't even be afraid to incentivize this for people, because that might seem a little sketchy, but it really isn't. Like, people will do things, actually most of the time they'll do it for nothing. So if you're not comfortable with incentivizing it, then you don't have to, but you can, and it's legit. It's not you know, people are like, "Oh, 5% off for standing here. I'm going to be standing here anyway because it's going to take me a couple of minutes to," and that's the other thing, to build it into your process. Make sure they have a reason to stand there for a couple of minutes while you finish their paperwork, or while you update their file, or while you make their next appointment, or whatever it is you have to do for that, like 2 minutes that it takes for them to pop on your little tablet and give you a review. Okay. So this is really big. People find this uncomfortable, and I'm telling you, reviews are everything. When someone goes to search on you and see, you know, those online reviews, those 5-star, 4 and 5-star reviews, those are some of the most valuable pieces of advertising that you can possibly have. And the more that you have them, the better you are. And that also goes back to the search engine optimization, because the more positive reviews you have, the more times you're going to show up in searches. Okay. It's just basic stuff. You got to do it. You got to do it. Okay. So those are the things that you need to do, that are pretty basic, but here's where it gets tricky. All right. And this is the part that people really have trouble with. But in addition to all of these pieces and puzzles, what you ultimately have to do in your marketing and in your experience is differentiate yourself from everyone else. And this is where it gets tricky, right? Because if you're giving a haircut, a haircut is a haircut, or if you are a dentist, well, a teeth cleaning is a teeth cleaning. If you are, so if you're giving the same or a very similar service to everyone else who is in your business in town, then you're in a trap. You've got to break out of that. So what makes you different? Well, there's two things. First of all, it's you. You as the practitioner are what makes you unique in your marketplace. Okay, so you really have to make your own personality, your own ideals, and what it is that you're trying to have your customers experience by using you specifically. You need to put that out there first and foremost into the world. Okay, that needs to be part of your marketing and branding efforts. It needs to be part of your language. It needs to be all around in your office. It needs to be what you talk about when you are discussing what you do with the world. Okay, you have got to be talking about the fact that you are different, and what makes you different. The single thing that makes you most different is you. Okay, so if you're not really capitalizing on the you aspect of your service business, then you need to be doing that. Okay, and that may mean that you need to sit down with a branding strategist or a marketing strategist, or do some sort of a thing that helps you get kind of your mind wrapped around that and get the messaging right. Okay, do what you have to do in order to get that part right. All right, so you have to differentiate yourself. And then the other thing you can do to differentiate yourself, of course, is to add maybe a slightly one-off extra service. Salon, okay? You come in for your haircut, we give a free, those little hand wax things that you sit there with, with the goo and the warm things. So everybody gets that for free when they get a haircut. Okay? Or, I'm just making stuff up, but, there's always something that you can also add on that's either for free or even if it's a cost, but maybe something a little different that you do in your business that increases the value of your experience, or the customer experience, without necessarily significantly changing your investment of time or cost. Okay? So think about that as a way of differentiating yourself as well. Okay? So once you've really tightened up your processes, you're getting good reviews, you've differentiated yourself in the marketplace, then the last big key is to do your best to get out of commodity pricing. Okay, that means like hourly pricing or service-based pricing. It really behooves you to spend some time figuring out ways to package your pricing. Okay, so let's just suppose that you are an orthodontist, and I'm just making this up because I don't know for sure what all your services are, but let's just say that you're offering a package for braces for kids, and there's these 5 things that they have to have throughout the period of time that they have the braces, from the time they get them on to the time they get them off. Rather than having a price for each visit, have this thing be a package. And then throw in some little thing to it that makes it unique to your experience, okay? And call it a package. And don't be afraid to charge more for this thing that other people are, because you have to realize that they're getting the experience of you and what you're offering, and that's what makes it valuable, okay? Now, I'm not a marketing expert, so if you struggle with exactly how to make all these pieces, and, I can help you to find someone, or you're certainly welcome to find someone on your own. You might need to invest in a strategist or a specialist to help you to kind of reshift your mind and figure all this stuff out. But I'm telling you, you got to break out of the commodities industry, business. Don't let yourself be a commodity. You can't do that. You're never going to win. And in the long run, your business is going to suffer. Now, there's always going to be people who are going to go somewhere else because they can get it cheaper somewhere else. There's always going to be that. You're never going to escape that. I heard a terrible story recently about someone who went, I want to say to the Dominican or someplace to have some surgery done, and, they died as a result of the care that they received there, but they made that decision strictly based on pricing, okay? So there's always going to be those people, and you can't get away from that. But the fact is, those aren't your people. You don't want those people. That is not the people that you want to base your business on. I promise you, all of these strategies do work, but the key is having faith in the fact that what you offer is unique and special and valuable, and don't underestimate yourself in that way. Don't cut yourself down being afraid to let some people go, okay? Maybe if you make a big sweeping change, you do lose a few clients who have been using you because you were the cheapest. That may happen. So you need to kind of prepare yourself for that. But the fact is, your book is going to refill and begin to overflow with people who really love you, what you have to offer, and the special things that you are unique to you and your business and your facility and your employees and your services and your experience, okay? So you have to have faith also in the end to do all these things and then just say, okay, I have the greatest thing. It's awesome. And this is what I'm charging for it. And then just kind of take a deep breath while the process rolls itself out, okay? And you will eventually be making more money. And then you have the money that you need to pay for the overhead that you have. You have the money to make the improvements that you make. You have the money to treat your employees with the benefits that you want to offer them. You have the money to pay yourself what you deserve, because so often, particularly in small businesses, we end up paying ourselves last and it's never enough, okay? So you have to keep all these things in mind, all right? So I absolutely am thrilled that you are all here with me, and I thank you for your time. I've been so passionate about this subject this week and so excited to get on here that I actually forgot to drink my coffee. But I hope you've been drinking your coffee with me, and I'm going to go make another cup. Please let me know if this was helpful to you. Please pop something in the comments. Give me some emojis. Feel free to share this with anyone on your own page if you find it useful, or tag someone in this if it's valuable to them. This is the kind of stuff that I do. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like, ooh, I'm so charged. Like, I get so charged about helping people find ways to grow their businesses. All right. And sometimes there are very complex issues like this that I have the opportunity to get involved with, and I'm always supercharged about it. So thank you so very much. I love all of you very much. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next week sometime. I'll post a new event and let you know. But if you have questions, if this sparked any ideas for you or any questions, please let me know what they are. I'm collecting my questions. I'm hitting the ones that I have the most insight on, and I'm digging in to find the answers to the ones that I have less insight on. So, I am here for you. Please utilize me in this way, and I'll see you next week. Okay? Bye, everybody.